Hello, this is a video to talk about when you would want to make a data form be an offsite page, a client information page be an offsite page, or a point in time be an offsite page. So we already have videos about how, like, what offsite pages mean and like how to get that set up and the different settings for this. But this video is specifically talking about how to choose between those three choices that I just said. This almost always comes up when talking about trying to give surveys to participants and kind of how to set up the system to do that. Your use case might be a little bit different than that. That's fine. But in this video, I'll just be saying surveys and saying it like that. And you can just translate for whatever use case that you have. Okay, so the first choice that you need to make when deciding between these three options is, do you want to have these surveys be associated with exact participants in the system already? Or are you just wanting to collect data, they're not attached to participants, and you just want to be able to run reports off of that data and aggregate survey information and all that? So if it's the latter case where you are just wanting to collect the data, you don't need it to be attached to participants, or you've just decided that it would be impractical to do so and kind of not possible in your situation, then you're going to want to set your a data form here to be an offsite page. So in your EmpowerDB administration information pages section, you'll scroll to the bottom and you should see this. It may be titled something a little bit differently for everybody. Here it's called forms. Yours might be data forms. It might be called anonymous data. Whatever it is, it's kind of going to be that next section after your client data. And you will create an information page here. I won't totally go into the process of how to create these information pages. You can go to our documentation and kind of look through and see, like, okay, how do I, make new pages and things like that. So you create an information page that would be used for collecting this data offsite. So I've got this survey here. We would go set this to yes, and then set the code name to be whatever we want. And then when we open this up, we can't kind of see it here, but you're going to get an address. Come on. You're going to get an address like this, empowerdb.com/your site ID / whatever you put for this code name there. You can also change this to surveysync.com if you want to send this link out to people when you don't quite want them to know that you're using EmpowerDB. Okay, so in this case, all you have to do is send this link to somebody. This link is not being tied to a unique participant. It just says, data go in here, and it will know where to put the data, and it will always create a new record. So now let's talk about if you wanted to have a survey be attached to a specific client in the database. This can even be a client that doesn't exist yet. So let's go to, I set up this here, kind of an information page. We'll just look at the structure really quick. I'm collecting first name, last name, birth date, phone numbers, and then I've got this mental health assessments point in time, which is my sample thing that I'm wanting to, this is the bulk of the data that I want to collect. So when I go back to this page's settings and scroll down to offsite data entry, I say it's yes to that, and it's got this code name. And when I go open up this link here, again, we see that I have a link, empowerdb.com/my site ID / whatever I had for that code name. And when it's like this, again, the system has no way of knowing that this is meant to be going on to a existing client. There's nothing up here that says which client is this meant to be going to. So you can still send this link out to the client, to the people you're working with, and say, hey, can you fill out this form? And it can be have whatever information you want. And they will fill it out. And if it's like this, it will always create a brand new client entry. So in some cases, you This is going to be, you'd want it to create a brand new client entry. This is truly a form that will be used, only filled out by brand new clients in your organization. But let's say that this is a form that you want to go to an existing client, onto an existing client entry. So you have a few options there. The first is you can still send them this link. It's going to create an entry in the database, a brand new entry in the database for that client. And then you will get potentially an email notification if you've set this up down there to say, send me email notifications. And you will have to merge this entry with the client entry that's already in there. And so the reason why I've included these 4 basic demographic fields is kind of show an example of if I were doing this and I knew that the majority of time I was just going to be merging these entries with existing client entries in the system, that I would want these 4 fields to kind of be sure I was merging the new client that was created from this form with the client that's already in the system. Okay, so yeah, you could do this. You could just have it, you're just going to be merging with people because it's impossible for you to send specific links to everybody uniquely so that the entry goes directly into their specific record. All right, now let's talk about that specific link thing that I keep talking about. So I'm going to find somebody. Here. So I'm at this sample record, and if you have pages set to be used as offsite pages, you will see this in the client's header. This is this client specific offsite ID. This is kind of like this jumbled up way the system will know that what we know of here in EmpowerDB world is client 718. We can send this information, send a link to that client that has this random text here, and the system will know that that will go to client 718. So if we can click on that link, we can see these are the pages that we can send off to these people and have them, and the data will go directly into their record. All right, so if you're in the process where like, okay, I know I need to send this client their offsite demographics page, you would say, come in here, maybe copy this, and then send them an email and say, hey, can you fill this in? Or whatever you're going to do to get this client this very specific link. Again, I know in many cases that would be impractical. You can't have that level of communication with somebody, or you can't like go to, an iPad ahead of time and type in this weird thing. And so you might have to do the earlier situation I just said. But plenty of you do have situations where it's totally fine to send everybody a personalized link like this. Okay, so so far we can still do with this information page. Nope, I went to the wrong thing. This information page, we can set this up to be the information page that collects the mental health counseling data and send them that link that I just showed you right there, and they'll fill it in and it will put it onto their existing record. But whatever they put for their birthday, first name, last name, birthday, and phone number, it will overwrite what's already in your system for those fields, which maybe is good. Maybe you in a situation where you want to put their phone number and you just like that you're always getting their latest phone number whenever they're taking the survey, stuff like that. But there could also be plenty of situations where you might want to go like, no, I don't want them to give me any of these things. I just want them to fill out the survey that's been created through this point in time. So if that's the case, what you can do is you can just go right to the points in time section and say, I want to go to this mental health assessments point in time. Scroll down to the offsite data entry page and say, I want to make this available as an offsite data page. I'm going to give it this code name. Offsite data pages for points in times are a little bit different, where we're only can possibly ever add new entries onto existing clients. So this field is a little bit different than what you would see in the client or data form section. But basically, we're asking, do you want to be able to make a link? Let's see if I can find. This link up here. Maybe we do want to make the link say /719 and have that be a way of sending the client a page. We discourage sending a client a link that has this because they might be like, okay, 719, what's going to happen when I change it to 721? And then now they're putting their data into some other client's entry, and you probably don't want people experimenting or maybe accidentally getting things wrong that way. So we can say, do we only do those jumbled up character offsite IDs, or do we allow those jumbled up character offsite IDs and those kind of not as secure EmpowerDB numerical IDs? So usually you want to keep it like that. And then the same settings that you're used to seeing on the other page. Again, you can look through the documentation here and these other videos linked to here to find out more about what these actual settings do. Okay, so we're going to save that and say, okay, this assessment page I want to be available for this client, for clients in this program as an offsite link. And so now that we've come back here, now we can give them this link here. And when they go to this link, they're going to see a form that has just the questions from that assessment point in time. It's going, when they submit this entry, it's going to go directly into that client's record, into the mental health assessments page. Let's do it so we can feel impressed. Wow. Oh, probably not nice. I put it under presenting problem, but whatever. Okay, success. And now when we go to mental health assessments, wow, the data fed directly into that client's record. Okay, that's it. If this didn't make sense to you, it's understandable. Let us know your use case. Let us know what you're trying to accomplish. We're going to help you, tell you what the right choice is, and if you just want us to do it for you and get it all set up for you and tell you how to do it, we're happy to do that too. But hopefully this video was able to give you enough information to do it on your own if you think you would like to do that. Thanks.